Hey, what's going on, guys? Brandon here with Texas Plinking. Nearly a year ago, I made a video titled something along the lines of the best long-range scope for under $1,000. And that was the Arkin Optics EP4. At that time, what was that? The 4-16 by 50, I believe. They also had a 6-24 coming out soon after, and I ended up getting my hands on two of them. And I love the EP4 series still to this day. However, almost a year later, some things have came on the market to where I haven't tried all of them to stand by that statement, but for under $1,000, well under, I think it was $599 for that scope, the EP4, it was quite an optic. You got a 6-24 zoom range for the one that's $599, a 50mm Bell, 34mm main tube size, first focal plane, and the glass itself was awesome, $599. There was nothing like it at the time. This video is about Arkin's Bombshell, which is the SH4 Gen 2. This isn't even the EP4. They did a Gen 2 of that SH4, and honestly, it's just a totally different optic. It has nothing similar to the SH4 Gen 1 at all. That said, I have my hands on 3 of them now, and I have not shot with them, but I've just messed with them, mounted them up, balanced them out, leveled them, I should say. And just from tactility and feel, they seem awesome. But today, we're actually getting our first impressions. As of now, it's got to be one of the better scopes, if not the best scope, for under $500. Not even $1,000 now, we're going to under $500. That said though, try to guess the price. Obviously from what I just said in the title, you already know it's under 500, so there you go. But I'm gonna read off some specs on what this optic is all about and try to get a price in your head because it's quite insane. All right, so take a listen to this. Okay, so you have a 6-24 zoom range, pretty standard, by 50mm objective lens. Again, pretty standard and great recipe. On this is the first SH4 to have a 34mm main tube. My favorite part about that EP4 even. Easy to see through and you got a lot more adjustment and elevation. You got a first focal plane on what they call the Vpr Reticle. Very, very nice Christmas tree type reticle. You've got illumination, first ever on an Arkin Optics. They got that center kind of cross with that center dot, very fine. Yeah, so illumination with the off in between each number. So that's nice. You could kind of leave it next to your favorite number and quickly put it on there versus making a full revolution. Right at the get-go, you can have mils or MOA. Last November when I made the video on the EP4, it was just mils initially. But yeah, right now you can get it mils or MOA. That's a 10th mil click, or if you go MOA, quarter MOA. Pretty common. So nice fine adjustments. Zero reset, obviously, and also a zero stop, as we would expect from the previous SH4 and EP4. So yeah, zero stop, zero reset. You got 32 mils of elevation adjustment thanks to that 34mm main tube. I want to mention real quick, the clicks themselves, windage and elevation, feel super nice, I gotta say. I'll probably cut to a clip right now to where you guys can just hear that audio for yourself. Just very solid click. Comes with a sunshade. I don't have that on mine right here. You got a battery, some other stuff, little cheap kind of scope covers, like the little rubber bra looking things. Weighs 36.6 ounces. And then if you are unfamiliar with Arkin Optics, I made the 2 videos in the past and I've mentioned that they do have the lifetime transferable warranty, no questions asked, no receipts needed to be kept. Again, in this price range, I think that's pretty sweet. So that was kind of long-winded, but all that being said, you already know it's under 500 because, well, I told y'all. But you would assume it's much higher than that. And so the price itself, no, it's not $499. It's actually $399.99. Let's just call it $400. It's $400, everything mentioned. So you would think that sounds good on paper, but how is it realistically? And I've already told you guys I haven't shot with it yet, but just from clicking around and just kind of fidgeting with it, it just seems good. It just seems really quality. I don't know, blind Coca-Cola taste test, I guess. If I just got it with no information, I would put this right around, thinking it was about maybe $1,200, I would think, but yeah, I would be dead wrong. It's $400. Okay, so mine is tricked out with some other Arkin Optics stuff. I've got a throw lever here. The actual zoom thing, you don't really need a throw lever. It actually moves very easy, much easier than the EP4. That was my little gripe with the EP4, but it wasn't too bad. This is really fluid, but not too easy. But I have a throw lever from Arkin Optics. I got a bubble leveler from Arkin Optics, as you guys can see there. And you can actually add those two to the cart. Those are normally about $70. It's called the Precision Pack. It's the bubble leveler, the throw lever, a rear bag, stickers, patch, all that stuff. It's normally $70. Then when you add it to the cart with the scope itself, it's $35. Last thing I want to mention is the mount, because now you have a 34mm main tube, and so usually 34mm mounts and rings are more expensive. Well, they've always had 34mm rings for a very fair price, $59.99, let's call it $60. New though is what they call the rigid precision, rigid light or whatever, what is it? Yeah, just rigid precision cantilever mount. 20 MOA, 34 millimeter. They don't have a 30 millimeter yet, but if you're gonna get this Arkin, then it doesn't matter. 34 millimeter cantilever, 20 MOA mount. Also, $59.99. Cheapest mount that comes close, 34 millimeter and 20 MOA, I don't know, it's probably like 160 bucks. Off the top of my head, I could be wrong. 60 bucks on that. So now we're talking about under $500 for the precision pack, the scope, and the actual mount itself. That seems too cheap to be true. So again, just from messing with it, it seems fine. We're gonna get some first shots right now and you guys are gonna see my impressions. Quick little surprise for you guys. I don't know how much I'll show this because I'm gonna make an independent video. Standard Remington 700 with that scope makes sense. You guys might think this is kind of silly. I have another of those scopes, again, $400 scope, on a much more expensive gun, just to see if it is the limiting factor on that gun right here. This is the Barrett MRAD. These guns go for about $6,000 more or less. And well, I got one with the Arkin scope on there. I didn't pay that much. I'll explain that in just a little bit here. I got this off Big Daddy Unlimited. They helped massively with this one. So, but I did pay for it, and yet still I'm throwing on a $400 Arkin SH4 Gen 2 just to see if this is the limiting factor on what is just a really, really nice precision rifle here. Ultimately, I'll probably put something more pricey on this thing, but just for shiggles, if it's good enough for the MRAD, it's probably good enough for any other rifle, I'd imagine. So that said, we'll plink around with this as well. All right, now before we move on to the shooting portion, I just want to give a real quick thanks to ETS. They've been a long-time sponsor on the channel, so I just want to thank them. Although not so much applicable on these guns here, because they're bolt guns and such. But the ETS, Elite Tactical Systems, they are a massive sponsor on this channel. The big help, which is nice to have on the gun industry. But they make cool transparent magazines as well as speed loaders for rifles, pistols, all that kind of stuff. So again, big thanks to ETS. Let's go ahead and shoot some long range. Alrighty. So pretty much the gun's zeroed in, but the numbers don't so much reflect that. So without bumping anything or moving anything, I'm gonna go ahead and loosen with the included Allen key this screw, and this screw over here. So there's three of them. We're gonna go ahead and loosen that first. All right, so now with those three loosened, we can move this around without clicking or zeroing anything. We're gonna walk this back over to the zero right there. And while holding that in place to where the zero is right on that little arrow, we just start tightening it a little bit. All right, so now the zero is set, so we have our clicks. The problem is the zero stop isn't set, so here's our zero for 100 yards. We can over-rotate it and land on the wrong zero and we'll get confused. To set the zero stop, usually there's a lot of scopes that have multiple pieces you have to do and all kinds of stuff. This one's pretty simple. You back out this brass piece. Again, don't have to take it all the way out, just back it out. Silver screw, the Allen goes all the way down. And once it's all the way down, then you back it out just a little bit, I believe. And then the brass one holds that in place. And that should do it. Let's test it out. We should still be able to go up and then stop on zero. Nice. Nice hard stop, very clean too. I like that, cool. For the windage, pretty much the same thing except without the zero stop. So just loosen, reset. All right, one gun down. One to go. We're gonna go ahead and sight in the MRAD with the same optic, SH4 Gen 2, 6-24. Didn't mention this. Like I said, I'm gonna do a full review on it, so that's why my information on this rifle is pretty surface level. Before you guys ask, this one happens to be 300 Win Mag. All right, my bore sight was garbage. I'm way high and left. Let's go ahead and correct that real quick. Yeah, this thing's on the money. All right, guys, new day. We're gonna be doing some shooting. We're gonna do 455 yards with a 308, and then we'll do 686 with the MRAD 300 Win Mag in just a bit here. I'm on my target right now at 455, and there's a pretty big herd of bison here in Central Texas. Probably a good 20 yards to the left. Shoot, you know what? I'm gonna get a picture with my phone here through the scope. Definitely not trying to hit a bison today. That would not be good. Just got a picture, so I'm gonna overlay that right now, but he's moving dangerously close to that target. It looks like the bison moved enough. We can go ahead and try to put some on at 455. A little bit low. In fact, I think I will come up just one click. Using 175 grain Sierra Match King from Federal, thought I'd mention that. We are grouping it just really low. Come up too. Right on. 175 grain Sierra Match King 308 ammo is hard to come by. 5 for 5. I say we move on. Let's get that 300 Win Mag out. Go a little bit further, 686 yards. All right, I've got dialed in 4.1 on elevation and 0.6 for wind. It's blowing left to right now. Let's see what happens. Ooh, okay. Top right. Let's try to get this hit on the second chance. Let's go ahead and cycle that action. Woo, smooth. Okay, come down a couple. And those winds are stronger than I thought, so let's see. That looks good. Looks real good. All right, I got 5 loaded up now. See if we can paint a nice grouping there. Man, this thing feels so good though. I love this gun. So far the scope does not feel like the weakest link on it, which is pretty impressive. Love it. Oh, left. That wind's tricky right now. Might have died a little. We're in like this little nestle bit of trees to where I don't feel the wind down there, but it's down there. Looks like it had just died on that one. I need to put a flag down there. This 300 Win Mag is rocking that around a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't fall on us. Man, how about that? Again, this is a just nearly $6,000 rifle. It's cheaper if you go on Big Daddy Unlimited. But still, it's quite a pricey premier product, we could all agree. And a $399 scope right now doesn't feel like the weakest link on it. Doesn't feel like the limiting factor. And that's impressive. All right, well, consider that a teaser. We're gonna do a full review on this one probably within the next few minutes here, which means in about a week or two for you guys, depending on how the upload schedule is. But this was just a quick review and look into Arken's SH4 Gen 2. I wanted to love it just because of all the information on paper, and it just seems so cheap. And right now, it does feel awesome, I have to say. Maybe we'll run it on this gun a little bit longer with the 338 Lapua just to see what happens. It does say it's 50 BMG rated with the lifetime warranty and all that stuff, but right now it's handling the 308 and the 300 very, very well. And man, I just really dig it. Okay, so for full transparency, Arken Optics sent me one of these scopes in MOA, and I bought the other 2s that are in mil. And if you guys decide to buy one, I have a link in the description. If you guys use the code Texas Plinking, it's not case sensitive, all one word. Texas Plinking, it does give me a little bit of a kickback just for full transparency reasons. So you guys can't help me out by buying one, but I wouldn't recommend something if it was garbage. I have 3 of the EP4s, 2 of the SH4 Gen 1s, and now 3 of the Gen 2s. And I have bought all but 2 of them. And so I do like them. Like I said though, even then, saying that, the resting optic, the final optic for an MRAD will probably still be something that's like north of $2,000 just to be more cohesive. But right now, I just did this just to test it out. And man, I do really like it. So I hope that was a little bit of a kind of conclusive video. Hopefully it showed you enough. But yeah, link in the description. Texas Plinking, what that code does is get you free shipping, and I think it gets you enrolled in a monthly giveaway on scopes, and if you win it, you can just get refunded or get another scope. But the free shipping, you already get free shipping if the order's over $200, so you can still use the code, and it makes me look useful. But if you're only going to get the $60 mount, you can use the code, and then you get $60 mount and a free shipping. I'm very glad it lived up to what I was hoping it would. For $400, this is by far the best scope for under $500. Again, I would assume it's north of $1,000 if I knew nothing. So there it is, guys. I know this video is probably extending quite a bit, so we'll end it. But yeah, if you want to see more content with this setup, look out for another week or two. We'll get a video going on a full review on the MRAT. But that does it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day.